What is up, fight nerds and dirty gamblers? I am Eric, and this is Eric Bets Fights. Sorry about that. I don't know if you all noticed, but I wasn't around at all last week. I didn't do any content at all. I haven't done any content in like a week and a half or something. That's because I had COVID, which you can, excuse me, you can still hear in my throat a little bit. So yeah, I was laid up all last week. I was bedridden with a fever for like 3 days, and then another 3 days of just kind of dragging around. And, you know, I'd heard about the post-COVID fatigue, and it is real. Like, I'm super tired all day, but then I also have a thing I didn't know about, the COVID insomnia, which is also real. So I'm super tired all day, but then at night I can't sleep. So yeah, so anyway, I'm making excuses, but this is what I'm making excuses for. I'm making excuses for the fact that this episode of Mixed Martial Smarts is not going to have the fancy-looking images that I usually make for each question, simply because I'm dragging ass a little bit because I'm struggling and I'm a little bit behind and I got to get this video done quickly, so I'm not going to make the images, but I don't think y'all are going to care too much. Anyway, this episode of Mixed Martial Smarts will test your trivial knowledge of the fighters who will be appearing on UFC Vegas 58 this upcoming weekend, headlined by the 5-rounder between Rafael dos Anjos and Rafael Fiziev. But before we do that, let's go ahead and go over the answers for not last week's, but the week before. So yeah, we didn't have questions last week. So we're going all the way back to UFC Vegas 57, Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to run through these answers real quick for you. Question number 1, which UFC Vegas 57 fighter literally has a stripper pole installed in the middle of their living room? Hope you didn't overthink that one. That was, of course, Vanessa Demopoulos. Number 2, Neil Magny is tied with Roger Huerta and Kevin Holland for the UFC record for most wins in a calendar year. How many wins did they each achieve in a year's time? That was 5 wins. Number 3 was a who said it question. Here's the quote. This is my 35th fight. You don't think I've been in fights where I had to grit down and bear with it? I'm not afraid to be in bad spots in a fight. I'm not afraid to not be in control. I can't control everything in the fight. I fought a lot of bigger, stronger guys who came on strong, but at the end of the day, they fade, and I'll bet my defense and my toughness versus anybody else's cardio. That was, of course, Chris, the action man, Curtis. The man just keeps getting it done. All right, number 4, Carlos Ulberg's dedication to the fight game cannot be questioned as he turned down the lead spot on New Zealand's version of what popular reality TV show because it would interfere with his training? Believe it or not, that was The Bachelor. Yeah, they literally wanted him to be The Bachelor in New Zealand, and he said, you know what, guys, training for the UFC, can't do it. And finally, number 5, 7 of Umar Nurmagomedov's 14 pro wins are by submission. How many of those 7 submissions are rear naked chokes? The answer is 6. All right, let's go ahead and move on. 5 questions for UFC Vegas 58, Dos Anjos versus Fiziev. I love this first question. This is a fun one. What I want you to do, go ahead and play along. Throw your answers down in the comments down there. I'll interact with you. I'll let you know if you're right or wrong. If you're wrong, I'll give you some hints, help you out a little bit, that sort of thing. Obviously, most of these are things that you can pretty easily Google, but you know, it's the honor system here. So, number 1, true or false? UFC Vegas 58, headlined by Rafael dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev, represents the first event in UFC history in which the main event fighters share a first name. Again, I want to know, is that true or false? Obviously, Dos Anjos and Fiziev, they're both named Rafael, or Rafael, you know, the pronunciation's different, but R-A-F-A-E-L, same spelling. True or false? This is the first time that a UFC event has been headlined by 2 fighters with the same first name. Question number 2, Nina Nunes, who faces Cynthia Calvillo at UFC Vegas 58, is perhaps best known as the wife of women's MMA GOAT Amanda Nunes. What was Nina's last name before taking her wife's name? Number 3, at just over 7.5 hours, Rafael dos Anjos ranks second all-time for most total UFC fight time. With just shy of 8 hours, who is the only fighter with more fight time than RDA? So again, RDA is second on the list of total fight time with about 7.5 hours. But there's another fighter who has like 25 minutes more than him, just under 8 hours. Which fighter is that with the most total UFC fight time? Question number 4, Caio Bohalho, a self-described fight nerd, has some interesting and arguably sort of nerdy tattoos, including a 2-word phrase on his throat, right here on the front of his neck, and a 3-word phrase tattooed like right here on his arm. What I want to know is, what are those phrases? What phrase does he have tattooed here on his throat? What phrase does he have tattooed here on his arm? And finally, question number 5, which UFC Vegas 58 fighter has the dubious distinction of having fought in the octagon 12 times, only having their hand raised in 3 of those outings? So if you do the math, 3 out of 12, that's only 25%. Again, we're looking for which fighter on this weekend's UFC card has the dubious distinction of having fought in the UFC 12 times, but only won 3 times out of 12. Which fighter is that? Those are your 5 questions. Thanks so much for watching, folks. I am Eric with Eric Bets Fights and Never Hedge Media. Make sure that you like this video. Throw comments down there, both to answer the questions, and if you've got feedback for me, let me know what you think. Also, make sure you subscribe to Never Hedge Media. If you dig what I do, I'm Eric Bets Fights right there. You can also find me over on my own YouTube channel. I'll put that down in the. I'll pin a comment under this video with my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, folks, and I hope you enjoy the fights this weekend. Make sure to check out all the other content here on Never Hedge Media. We're literally dropping new videos pretty much every day. We've got 4 different people making content, so there's all kinds of fun stuff coming out, and we're so happy to have you here. Have a great one, everybody. Take care.